In this presentation, you will learn about Turnitin, how to create a new Turnitin assignment, and how to change a Turnitin assignment that was created before the new integration. Turnitin is a web-based plagiarism checking software. It's available to all instructors at Great Basin College. Turnitin can be used as a deterrent, but also as an educational tool to teach students how to work with sources and improve paraphrasing and quoting skills. There are two areas of Turnitin: the originality checker, the original Turnitin tool which identifies overlap between pieces of writing and produces an originality report with the percentage of overlapping material. Turnitin also has a peer mark area, which is a tool to facilitate student peer review. It's important in your class for you to decide if you're going to use peer mark for peer review or use the native peer reviewing system within our web campus. To create a new Turnitin assignment, find your class, click on the class card, enter the module where you would like the assignment to appear, click on the plus sign next to the module name, choose a new assignment, give the new assignment a name, and add the item. Click on the assignment title, then click on Edit. You can choose to put directions here in the instruction box, points, add the assignment to an assignment group. Then here under Submission Type, you'll want to choose External Tool. Click on Find, scroll down to find Turnitin, and then click Select. Follow the same instructions from this point on to convert an assignment that's already located in WebCampus. Scroll down to that assignment, click on its title. Click on Edit. Scroll down to Submission Type. Change the submission type from the current option to External Tool. Click on Find. Scroll down to find Turnitin. Then click Select. Choose who the assignment is assigned to and your due date. Now click Save. Turnitin is creating a new Turnitin assignment underneath your instructions. Click on Settings. The title came from the original assignment creation. You can add additional instructions. However, keep in mind students will be looking up here for the instructions of the assignment. Select whether or not you allow submissions of any file type. The default option is to allow only the file types that Turnitin can check for originality: Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, WordPerfect, PostScript, PDF, HTML, rich text files, OpenOffice files, Angular files, Google document files, and plain text files. The grade point comes from the original assignment you have created. You can choose a start date for this assignment. Students are only able to submit once the start date and the time have passed. After the due date and time, students will be blocked from submitting papers unless late submissions are enabled. The feedback release date is an important area. Any feedback that you provide on the Turnitin assignment and the originality check will only be seen by students after the feedback release date. Now click on Optional Settings. Select whether you wish to allow submissions after the due date of the assignment. If set to Yes, students will be able to submit to the assignment after the due date, providing they have not previously made a submission. If set to No, students will not be able to submit after the due date of the assignment. If you have Allow Late Submissions selected to No, and you decide to let a student hand in an assignment after the due date, you will physically have to come into the Turnitin options and change this setting to Yes to allow that late student to submit an assignment. Best practice guidelines are choosing Yes here, then following your late policy guidelines according to your syllabus. Select the sources for which you want students' papers to be compared against. A student paper repository, which compares students' work to all of the resources submitted to Turnitin, current and archived website content, periodicals, journals, and publications. Select from the drop-down list when, after student submission, that you would like the originality report to be generated. There are 3 options for this assignment setting. Immediately, first report is final. Originality reports for all submissions will be generated immediately. Students cannot resubmit papers. Immediately can overwrite reports until due date. Originality reports for the initial submission by each student user in this assignment will be generated immediately. Students may resubmit as often as the student wishes until the assignment due date. Originality reports for the second and subsequent submission will require a 24-hour delay before the originality report begins processing. Only the latest submission is available to the instructor or the student. Previous submissions are removed. Originality reports will generate within an hour of the due date and time to allow student submissions to compare against one another within the assignment. A change in the originality report similarity index may result from the generation of the reports. This option is typical when students are self-reviewing and revising their submissions and able to view the originality report. No resubmissions are allowed after the due date and time of the assignment. Generating reports on due date. Originality reports are not generated for any submission until the due date and time of the assignment. Students may resubmit as many times as they need until the due date and time without receiving reports. Resubmissions may not be made after the due date and time of the assignment. One important item to keep in mind: if an instructor chooses to grade without a student submission and the immediately first report is selected, students will not be able to submit to the assignment once the report is generated. Excluding the bibliography. Select whether you would like text appearing in the bibliography, works cited, or reference sections of the assignment to be excluded from the check for matches in the similarity index when generating originality reports. This setting can also be overwritten in individual originality reports. Excluding quotes. Select whether you would like text appearing in the quotes of an assignment to be excluded from being checked for matches in the similarity index when generating originality reports. This setting can also be overridden in individual originality reports. Excluding small matches. Select whether you would like to exclude matches that are not of significant length, determined by yourself, from being considered when generating originality reports. This setting can also be overwritten in the individual originality report. If you have chosen to say yes, a gray box will appear. Here you can exclude matches by word count through entering the amount of words you would like to exclude from being considered when generating originality reports. Alternatively, you can exclude matches by percentage by entering the percentage of words you would like excluded from being considered when generating the originality report. Allowing access to originality reports. Choose whether you would like your students to view the originality reports for their submission to this assignment. Repository options. Select from the drop-down list whether you would like papers to be submitted to the TurnItIn standard paper repository or no repository at all. The benefit of submitting papers to the standard paper repository is that the students' papers submitted to the assignment are checked against other institutions' student submissions. If you select no repository, your students' papers will not be stored in the TurnItIn standard paper repository, therefore meaning the papers will not be checked for collusion between students of the same or different institutions. Peer mark assignments are a peer review option within the TurnItIn system. Please make sure if you choose this option to guide students to this area instead of the WebCampus peer review. In order to use the WebCampus rubric system, you'll need to attach the rubric before you turn it into a TurnItIn submission assignment. If you choose not to use the WebCampus rubric system, you can choose to attach a TurnItIn rubric to this assignment. Make sure you are very clear for your students whether you're using the TurnItIn rubric or the WebCampus rubric. Best practice would dictate you choose one method to use throughout the semester. If you would like to use a rubric to grade the papers submitted by using the TurnItIn rubric system, you can choose a rubric by clicking on the down arrow to choose a previously created imported rubric, or you can launch the rubric manager by clicking on Launch Rubric Manager to create one of your own. Click on the properties to create a new rubric or to duplicate the rubrics that are available for you. When creating new rubrics, you add your criterion and percentage, as well as the description for each of the skills. You can import a rubric that has been created in Excel or export this rubric into a PDF. Choose whether or not you want to enable the E-Rater grammar check. This feature of the Turnitin assignment provides instructors with an option to enable the E-Rater grammar and spelling check for all submissions to the assignment. When enabled, student submissions receive detailed grammar feedback in GradeMark automatically through the E-Rater technology. Select Yes to enable the E-Rater engine for this assignment. E-Rater spelling and grammar check comments are not automatically shown to the student. These comments are released with all other comments on the assignment feedback release date. Students will also not see the E-Rater comments if the assignment has not been opened by the instructor and if no comments have been left on the paper. This is to ensure that all comments E-Rater has generated have been improved by the instructor. Select the ETS handbook level from the drop-down menu. The ETS handbooks provide students with in-depth information about the grammar errors the E-Rater has found on their paper. Select the dictionary used for the spelling check. Then choose which categories of feedback are enabled when viewing assignment submissions in GradeMark. The default is to show the feedback for every category. If changes have been made to the advanced assignment options, an additional option will be available at the bottom of the options panel. Select this if you would like to save these options as your default for future assignments.